Hello and welcome back to the Budget Home Chef. I am your head chef Amanda as always, and today I'm making a Nutella cheesecake with a strawberry compote. This dessert is very rich and very delicious, and if you love Nutella, you're going to want to stick around. So sit back, relax, and let's get cooking. So let's go ahead and get our chocolate graham cracker crust done. We have 7.5 ounces of graham cracker, we have 7 ounces of sugar, 1.5 ounces of cocoa powder, and then we have 4 ounces of melted butter. Our next step here is to get all of those ingredients in this bowl here so we can get it all mixed together and formed properly. Now before we add the butter, we're going to go ahead and get all the dry ingredients mixed together here. I do this to make sure we get all the lumps out of that cocoa powder, and that way we can also see that everything is incorporated. Now we're going to go ahead and add that melted butter in here. And what you're going to want is you're going to want a somewhat formable consistency here. You'll see. You don't want it to not be super dry still. You want to make sure that it's like the consistency of a Play-Doh almost. As you see, the more I mix it here, the more it does come together. This will be great for forming in the bottom of our 10-inch springform pan that we have. Next thing to do is to get this formed in the bottom of the pan. I'll have to admit I am pretty OCD, so I make sure that it is completely even on the bottom of this pan. I'll even go as far as making sure that every single edge is pushed down and even as well. But this is completely up to you how you form it. You can do the bottom of a measuring cup as well if you feel for it, or you can just go bare hands if you don't have gloves. Now once that crust comes out, you're going to want to let that cool. And the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to do our filling. I have here 3 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese, 24 ounces altogether. And we're going to go ahead and get that into the mixing bowl here. Next, we're going to add 3/4 cup of granulated sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I have put both of those together in that bowl. And once that's all in the mixing bowl here, we're going to go ahead, get that turned on to about medium speed, and then get that all incorporated together. I did turn up the speed a little there just to try to get a little more fluff into it. The next thing we're going to add here is 4 eggs. You need to add these in one at a time, so that way everything gets incorporated properly. And after you add about 2 eggs, go ahead and stop that mixer and make sure you scrape everything, including down to the bottom of that mixing bowl. Once you do that scraping one time, you're going to add the other 2 eggs. And again, same process. After you get those fully incorporated, you're going to want to stop that mixer and scrape all the sides and all the way down to the bottom of the mixing bowl. Alright, so once those are all incorporated, you're going to go ahead, like I said, scrape again one more time here. Now, I've never been one to use the paddle attachment on when I make cheesecakes. I much prefer the whip, but if you want, you can definitely use your paddle attachment. Next up, we're going to get our vanilla extract in there. I use Mexican vanilla that I've gotten from Cozumel on a cruise one time. And once I get that in there, I'm going to go ahead and add my 3/4 cup of heavy cream as well. And once that's all in there, just go ahead, get that on a slow speed at first, and then go ahead and turn that up. Up next, we're going to put in the main attraction of this cheesecake, and that is 2 cups of Nutella. This is one of my favorite cheesecakes just because of the Nutella right here. It is so rich and so delicious. And we're going to go ahead and get that all whipped in here now, and you're going to see that color change. Now if you need to, you can definitely stop the mixer here, and again, do a scrape. You want to make sure you have everything mixing together for you. And if you want, you can even taste the batter if you like. I know you shouldn't do that because of the eggs, but man, it's even good by itself. Next up, we're going to get our springform pan prepped. I do have 2 sheets of aluminum foil that I have put together here. And what you want to do is you want to bring up that aluminum foil all the way around the pan here. This is a setup for the water bath we'll be putting this cheesecake in. Now you want to make sure it's a tight fit as well because you don't want any moisture to get into that crust. Up next is to get that delicious filling into this cheesecake pan. What you want to do is make sure you scrape every last bit of it to get it in that pan. Again, you don't want any of this to go unturned. Once that is, just kind of give it a little flop flop like I'm doing here. I know, strange word, but it gets it evenly into the pan for you. As you can see here, I have 2 sheet pans. I have a roasting pan on the bottom and a sheet pan up top. Both are filled with water. After you get your cheesecake out of the oven, we're going to go ahead and make that Nutella Ganache that goes on top. That's going to be 1/2 cup of heavy cream and 1 cup of Nutella. So what you're going to do is you're going to get that ganache into the microwave there. As you can see, we've got a warm cream Nutella mixture here. We're going to get this all mixed together here, and we're going to get it a smooth, rich, and creamy topping for this cheesecake. As you can see, after a little love and care to it, you're going to have this rich, delicious ganache come together for you. Next up is getting that delicious ganache onto the cheesecake. You're going to want to pour slow, but you're going to want to start in the center and go in a clockwise rotation just to make sure you get all of it evenly across your cheesecake. And then go ahead, use that spatula to get it all across the top of that cheesecake. Once that's done, go ahead and get that in the fridge overnight. Next up after this, we're going to go ahead and get our strawberry compote made. Alright, so onto that strawberry compote. So we're going to go ahead, hold these strawberries out, and make sure you get all of the stems taken out. We're going to use 1 pound of fresh strawberries here. So after you get all the strawberries whole, you're going to want to go ahead and get these cut in half into a pot. In a separate container, you're going to want to go ahead and put in 1/4 cup of water and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. To the pot of strawberries, go ahead and add 1/4 cup of sugar. And then after that sugar, go ahead and put 1 tablespoon of lemon juice as well. Now Now go ahead and mix up all of your cornstarch mixture there just to make sure it's all combined, okay? And once that is all combined, go ahead and add that to the pot as well. Once that's coming off the stove here, you're just going to let this cool down completely. Now our next process here is to get this cheesecake out of this pan. So what I have here is I have a small little spatula that I'm going to run across the side of the cheesecake here all the way around. And once that's done, go ahead and carefully open your springform pan and very carefully bring it up over the cheesecake so that way you're not scraping anything off the top of it. Next is to transfer this beautiful, delicate cheesecake to a cake sheet pan, or a cake plate, whichever you have. So you're going to just go ahead and stick a larger spatula underneath, all around it, and then just bring it over very carefully onto your cake pan. And there you have it, a beautiful Nutella cheesecake. You can get about 18 to 20 servings out of this. So you just want to go ahead, cut that with a warm knife. So right under hot water, it always gives you the best cut. And of course, don't forget that strawberry compote to put over it. This is a perfect complement to that very sweet, rich cheesecake, to this slightly bitter strawberry compote. And again, thank you so much for joining me here again today. As always, the recipe will be down below, and also don't forget to click subscribe, like, and click on that bell. Again, thanks so much, and see you on the next one.